Alright there guys, I got this crossover piece, I guess we could call it, done. Again, I scribed the line down the side. I actually took this one, I stuck it in the door jamb of my French doors there, and against the molding I went with my Sharpie. And that little milling table piece is holding up. I had to weld it again. I'm waiting for the new one to come in the mail. Gotta love buying stuff online when you live out in the country like I do. UPS, FedEx, great guys. Love to see them come up the driveway. I took the level, I just stuck it right up against the frame. First, let me tell you what I did was, if I can find my tape measure, I'm unprepared right now. Where is my tape measure? Let me go grab a new one. What I did was, on the knucklehead frame you saw me do in the previous chapter, I measured off one of these sidecar loops. You can't even see that, but I'll point it out to you. I'll just tilt that camera over somehow. There you go, you can see that. So off the sidecar loop here, I stuck the end of the tape in there, and I measured up like this. And the piece that goes across to my knucklehead frame was at 13 inches. And I remember I had said this wheel was, the OD in my wheel was 26 inches. So I guess that'll leave you like not a whole lot of clearance. So what I'm gonna do is I'm putting my pipe at 13¼ inches. If I gotta make a spacer, a slug, a threaded bung that I put into that to hold the fender and everything, that's what I'll do. But that's what I'm thinking. I'd rather have a little bit of extra oomph there, a little extra clearance, instead of trying to get a wheel in here and find out it's gonna rub up against the crossover bar. So I'm gonna take my Sharpie and measure up. And I had, that 13 inches was a good guess I had off of measuring my wheel. And I'll measure up at 13¼ right there. The tape came off, so let me make sure. And I'll do it on this side too. Let me walk around. All right, so like I was saying, what I did was, I took my level, put it up like that, kind of held the carpenter's angle on the other side like so, just like so. Take my tape, and then I could measure the width inside there. And I came up with looks like 8 3/8. So with that in mind, first thing I did was I cut one side of this tubing while she was in the vise. And I left it in the vise and I moved things around so I didn't have to take it out, because then these might be all cattywampus. You might get them, instead of being like this, they might be like that. There you are, some kind of crazy thing like that. I measured the one, and then I measured across like so to where I had my 8 3/8. Okay, and this actually measures out to 8 1/4. The slop from the the hole saws, they always kind of wobble. And I measured that it was 1 inch and a 1 inch and 1/8 of a hole saw. I measured the the 1/2 inch plus the 1/16. That's what's that, 11/16 or something like that. So we're going to put this in here, like this, and it goes in kind of tight. And I'll tap it in place. And that's a good fit right there, man. We'll get her up to where we want it. And I want those lines to be on the bottom side of the pipe, not the middle. That's it, and I got a really nice tight fit there, and she's in there good. I don't even have to have a magnet to hold it in place, so I'm gonna go ahead and TIG that in. There's not a whole lot of rocket science on that piece right there. All right, guys, what I did was I made up those little. I went ahead and did these before I made my front down tube gussets. These are the little plates that I said go right in here, little gussets, support gusset piggies. Now I'm going to go ahead and grind all the protective gooky coating off of here. And we're going to go ahead and tack weld that bad boy in there. So just kind of get this kind of midway on the pipe here at half, and however it sits in there. If it sits a little cocked this way on this part of the pipe, so be it. But we want it to at least look like we tried. I'd say that's pretty good right there. And I'm going to hold it there with my hand, because it's a lot better than trying to get things set in with magnets. And I'm just going to burn it real quick. So watch your eyes, guys. Better up over here. And there you go. And I'm trying to shove my head in there just a bit so I can see. I'm halfway on that, and that looks like it's where it's got to be. So I'll tack weld this side, and then I can take my pick hammer and tap this up or down, whatever need be. Alright, so I got a little bit of a weld right there, and I'm thinking I got to tap this up just a wee bit. I say it's a body shop hammer with the pick. That works pretty good for this. And it looks and feels pretty good now. So that's all there is to that. You can see that looks pretty good. I'm liking it. I don't think it's too shabby. So what I've done is I made up my slugs, and this is a 1-inch OD that'll fit inside the factory frame casting. I don't have my piece of pipe here. And I shaped it down to fit inside the DOM tubing I'm using for the down tubes. So that in mind and everything, I took this one and I got it in by, it's still hot. I heated it because I had said this has been crushed and pushed in by the clamps and stuff from the crash bars. So I heated this up pretty cherry red, and I used my ball peen part of the hammer and I kind of opened that up a bit. I got my slug in there, and while it was hot, I took the 3-pounder and sent it down in there. And mind you, that inside, like I said, about 1 3/4 inch or 7/8 down, I can feel there's like some type of like an inner piece of pipe or something. They must have used as a guide to shove the pipe on and whatnot. So make sure that when you cut these, it's not going to end up sticking with so much of your shoulder out. So I had to cut off on one about 1/4 of an inch and about 3/16 of an inch in the other one. So they'll go and bottom out right on top of the gusset that's in there. And also, these things come up and they curve in pretty quick, because that frame casting was way down here, remember? And so they curve in pretty quick to go into that. And I can tell by taking this thing from the bottle jack and kind of sitting it up against the piece I got, that she's going to be almost on the other side of my neck, not that you can see it. So I'll have to heat this up, and I'll be bending that over to make sure my tubes fall just right on the neck. Let me move the camera a little bit. There we go. So, you remember this casting here, was way the heck down here. So, these things curved in pretty straight away quick. So I'll have to heat this up, and I have to shove a screwdriver in there and pry it out so I can get my down tube to fall. I don't want it to be like the factory Harley, because Larry had it right here on the bottom, like the typical aftermarket frame, with the gusset plate in there. So that's what I'm going for. And so, like I said, I have to heat this again, manipulate it. I don't want that brass to come too loose, so it's going to be pretty ginger process. And that's it. So let me, I'm gonna get one side done, then we'll come on back and I'll set the other side up so you can see that. All right, guys, I got my stuff set up. Like I said, I was gonna show you how we're gonna do this here. Get that slug in there. She fits in. You see if she won't go in all the way. There's that little indent there. And I can feel it when I shove my finger in. So we're going to heat that bad boy up. Use these two multi-directional inertia converters and pound that stuff right on in there. As I pound this in, I got this, I cambered the edge off really good so it's nice and round. So it should push that steel back into shape. So that's what we're going to do. Get all this burnable stuff out of the way. But on Indians, I know that stuff clamps on, that crash bar clamps on there. And, you know, maybe even on a Harley or, you know, some British bike or something, I don't know. But this is how I'm taking care of it. You know, for what we're doing with this new neck and everything. Make some fire and get it hot. And I don't want to get it so hot, I sweat that braise out of there. So we're really going to work the area we got to work. It looks like it's right there. This stuff heats up pretty quick. We'll get her all nice and cherry. And do what we got to do. And once you go pounding this slug in there, you know, you might not be able to get it out. So make sure you got everything ready to go. I measured the depth and everything of this, so it should fit in there just perfect. All right, let's start tapping her in. Piece of fun. You can see how it cooled off. Right at the top there, where the edge of the slug is touching. You can see the slug working its way down. And that's golden. Where are you? There you are. See? I'll zoom it in a little bit better, maybe. You can see. You know, I got her just right to that line I wanted and everything. And there's both sides, and we're ready to rock and roll. And don't forget, you know, I got my rosette holes. There's the one there, and the ones here like this, and these are here like that. You got those all set and ready to go. But yeah, I went ahead and knocked this out. I kind of forgot to put the camera on because I was excited to get my bottle of argon for the TIG bag and whatnot. But I got them all set up on the outside of the, just on the outside like Larry did of the frame there like that. And I've got this here gusset plate I made. And basically by just looking at this picture here of that gusset, I guess if you could hold it kind of like that. I don't know if it really, anyway, that's the gusset there, and that's what's on Larry's Indian. So, you know, it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be exact, because like I said, I have these grainy old pixelated pictures from this one magazine. There are no photographs of this bike anywhere, except for this old tattered magazine I got. So all I got to do is just get this bad boy up in here like this, and I got to put a little, a plate between the two down tubes also. So that's what I'm going after now. And again, it's just like, you know, I took a, oh, this looks like it was a Coors Light box. Oh yeah. So we made that out of that template, piece of 1/4 inch plate. So I'll get this in here welded. I'm gonna do a lot of welding. I want to try and get caught up on all this stuff and move on. So I want to get this centered in here, and I'll have to get that tack welded. And I'll probably do this little plate when I take this out of the jig. It'll make life a lot easier for me. And be easier to show you guys on camera at home. You got the easy part sitting there on the recliner, you know, with the feet back and your chocolate milk and your Fig Newtons or whatever you got on the side. All right, all you crazy moon doggies and hep cats out there. We're going to do that little section, like I said. Everything's welded, that's it. I guess going to fix the one bust through on the lower frame tube, and I'll show you how to do that, or at least how I'm going to take care of it. Right now, I took a Budweiser box. You got to love those, my famous beer box templates. And I made this little crazy shape. It looks like maybe some kind of Star Trek Klingon emblem, you know? Tapow! So, and I got my edges all beveled. I got my gloves on because it's still a little warm. Yeah, it's still pretty freaking hot, man. So, but I beveled all the edges. This is just the finished side. And this side I'm leaving because that's the outside. And that's going to get burnt pretty good when I go ahead and take it in there. So I'll zoom the camera in and I'll show you what we got there. Right underneath the neck there, tighten the camera up. You can see that plate hanging down, which is my neck gusset, you know, on the sides here. I've got it welded in. Now, I gotta be honest, I can't see from the magazine pictures if Larry left that hanging there like that or not, and I can't imagine he would. So you can see how this is gonna fit now. Let me zoom the camera out a bit. Here we go. It's still hot, and I'm gonna have to deal with it. But this will just slip right on in here. Ah, it's really freaking hot. Ah, just like that. And I used a size or two above, 1/4 inch. So I got the gap, and it's a little forward. I'm gonna put a weld right down here, and obviously up the sides and around here and across in the back. And that should, to me it looks finished. Let me zoom it out a little bit more. Whoop, wrong way. You know, to me that looks pretty finished. And you know, when I mold the frame in, that'll make it easier to mold. And I'll take the camera up and I'll show you the back side. So you can see right in there, that's how it's going to look from the back side. Like I said, I'll pick up the weld. I'll put the weld all the way from here, down both sides and around there, and down here and around, you know, in the front here, up there you are, up and around and down the middle. It's going to be a lot of welding, and it's going to be nice. But that's my little gusset right there. All right, guys, I got that piece of steel welded in all the way around. And right down the middle, I got it welded, like I had said, that little slice I put in there. So, yeah, that's not going anywhere. I built up the welds pretty thick so I could knock them back and just take the heads off a little bit, and a nice little tight smear of body filler when I mold it. It'll look pretty good. I'll zip in there quick with the camera and show you what it looks like. And there we go. And you can see, like I said, right up the middle there, I got the weld, you know, along the edges and whatnot, but that's pretty good to go. Now what we're going to do is the last thing on this frame is that one piece here in the bottom where you know, some water got in here, it settled, and that rotted out over time, and when it froze, water expands, so it, and pop, you know, out came the steel. So I'll zip in on that camera, and I'm figuring it out as I go along how I'm going to fix this. And that's the culprit right there. Now, I know from past experience doing that knucklehead frame in the previous chapter of the DVD here that brass, I'm not going to be able to TIG weld next to that because my TIG weld, the seam of that weld is just going to crack. The rest of it I'll be okay on. I was just going to cut this like this and along the back and around again and put like a half piece of pipe in there, fresh piece of pipe. And I also thought about I could just tap this down, tap it in, and maybe open it up a little bit with the whizzy wheel and just run a bead like that. Because the steel is still pretty thick. And that's what I'm I'm going to do, because this pipe slides inside this casting and is sweated with brass. So this is just, you know, it'll turn into a big mess. I really don't want to cut this loose. Like I said, I could half it, but I think what I'm going to do is just I'm going to tap this down, and I'll use the MIG welder, because that'll burn through any brass that happens to be in a pit in the steel. And that's all I'm going to do to clean that up and fix it. So let me move the camera back, and we're going to fix that right now. All right, so I can feel it's bumpy high. So let's just see if it'll go in like this. I don't have to heat it up at all or anything. That went right back. No worries there. Now, if the steel wasn't really all that thick, like I said, it was busted out, you know, kind of like that, and I could see the edge of the steel. It looks like it's relatively decent, and that bulbous pop from the expansion is gone after tapping it in. So I'm going to go ahead with the Whizzy wheel. I'll zoom the camera, and we're going to cut a groove in there so we got something to weld into. You can see she's opened up. Let me take the camera and we'll try and get in there a little closer. Where is it? Right there. And you can't adjust. You can see, you know, the steel's pretty thick still. So tapping it in was the right idea. Let's see how the other side looks. Oop, there we go. And this steel's still got some thickness to it. I'm not so worried about it. Now, even though it's a 110 MIG welder, this is 1/8 inch wall tubing. This, you know, cranked up at the right amperage it's gonna penetrate it and do the right job. So let's just give this a whackarino and see how we come out. Now I'm starting and stopping like that because I'm getting a really good burn. I can see it penetrating in there, and I'm watching my weld, and I know I got a great weld. So this will be fine. This will be safe. It's not going to crack. And you know what? Not for nothing. Even if it does crack, all right. So then I'm going to have to go in maybe later on and do some surgery. But I'm telling you, it ain't gonna open up. I got a good weld going in there because if that steel was weak and she was really thin and really rotten on the inside, this would be blowing big holes in there and everything. So I'm not worried. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this weld up. We'll give it a little bit of a grind, and she'll look not good as new, but she'll look like she's been abused maybe for 5 years, 10 years. Now grinding, you know, a MIG weld is a lot harder than a TIG weld. It takes some oomph to get at it. I don't know what the difference of the metallurgy is. It's just something I know. I ain't touching it because I know she's hot. I'll zip the camera in, you can check it out. So our spot was right in here, you know? So it takes the hammer pass, so I guess we're good to go. So it's a little cleaned up, it looks pretty good. You know, once you get some high build primer on there and give it its paint job, it'll look just fine. Like I said, you know, this bike's gone, nobody knows where it is, and the tale that's been told is, you know, this old bike got parted out. So, you know, it's a shame, but I'll build it as close as I can to the way Larry had his. And like, let's get this thing broadside. You guys can get a good view of that. And this frame going the same way. See if I can't, so you guys can see, that looks pretty right. If I move this, that fits right in there. Just like that. Something like that. Keep moving my hand around. This is what I do sometimes to make sure I got stuff lined up. Plus that bike's on its kickstand in the photograph. So yeah, it's about right, right there. So there you go, that's that frame. Like I say, Larry was a real mechanical renaissance man. He was okay. I didn't agree with a lot of the stuff those guys did, but I always admired this bike, and I always thought it was pretty cool, you know? And, well, there you go. Not too bad, man. I'm real happy with it. We went through a lot of shit to make it happen. Like I said, I bought this original cradle for 300 bucks. Then I paid, figure, like I said, with the other pieces, the kicker, arm, and the generator bracket, $300. I'm gonna figure I paid $300 for this. It is 400 bucks right here. Plus, you know, I don't even know what the steel cost me. Well, these cost me, you know, list price on them is $2 and change. I got like $200 in these. So that's 600 bucks right there, right? So I get 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say there's at least $800 to $1,000 here. You know, yeah, you probably could have went out and bought a Paco frame, you know, for a Harley or something or what have you, but this is an Indian, man. It's an Indian with the same lines as a Harley Rigid. This is going to be badass. What's that? It's another frame down and done. So, the next one, like I said, I'm going to take a breather here for a while. I got to get some work done. But the next one, like I said, I started building a project like the Megacycle Ed Roth had. It was an idea that I actually, many years ago, spoke to Larry about and Paul Cox. And it never came to fruition, but I started doing it anyhow. And the bike I want to put on that is going to be I have a Triumph unit motor and stuff. That's what I have. I work with what I got, and what I get for free or really cheap. So that's what I got. So I'm hoping that's the next frame we're gonna do. I've never done a Triumph, so it's the first for me. But next chapter, man.